From Random Secret Studios all over the Delaware Valley.
I'm the capo. He's the prez.
And this is Sons of Ben, the pod.
The pod.
Adam, welcome back to episode number Eric Snow.
Eric Snow hit this game-sealing shot in the NBA Finals, Game 1 against the Los Angeles Lakers, and watching the replay a mere month and a half ago, my drunk self yells in my apartment to no one in particular, Eric Snow, what'd it do for you? So big fan of the man.
Episode number 20, and this week's guest, and Adam, I don't know where it is in the Squadcast video. I've got him right above you. Or is he below you?
He's directly below me.
So if you go Brady Bunch, Hollywood Squares looking down, you're going to see Mr. Adam Cann from the Philadelphia Union. I've got him listed as the manager of marketing and digital for the team. Adam, is that true?
That is my official title, along with anything else that I am asked to do. I will do it. I will execute, including this podcast.
Well,
He's a Swiss Army knife.
This is a non-salaried podcast, so don't get your hopes up. It's kind of like being the handler of Fang. There's no pay, just glory. So, Adam, we were talking a bit before, because we were actually doing a pre-interview before this for the first time. Trying to get your background. Native, born and raised in the Carolinas, where it was in the Philadelphia region when the Union started as an independent writer. And then... and then went to Texas for grad school, and then came back to the Philadelphia Union. So can you give us a brief summary of what I just summarized?
Yeah, I will keep it very brief because it's not that interesting. And I know that this pod is for the engaged. So we're going to fly through it. So I played soccer in North Carolina, Charlotte. A bunch of British guys show up, start some clubs. I'm in a few of them. Then I moved up here for college. And that was when, just after I got out of college, a few years after that is when I met some guys like Ed Farnsworth and some people who were, hovering around the Casa world at that time and the 700 Club. And they were starting a website called the Philly Soccer Page. I remember that meeting, sitting in 700, trying to decide on a name. And then they asked me to write for it. I think my first post was like the dumbest joke about Dennis Bergkamp's birthday or something dumb. Johan Cruyff's birthday, I don't remember. And then eventually I had to do tactics writing and did that for the first year. And then 2011, I covered the team in the locker room. My biggest memory is Freddie Adu throwing a water bottle at Danny Mwanga, and in like a friendly way, and everyone looking at him like, you don't really get to joke like that with us. And then after that, I moved to Texas for grad school, Texas Tech, social psych and marketing, consumer behavior, and I still cover the team there. I was at the U.S. Open Cup semifinal against FC Dallas. Breck Shea sitting in a lawn chair above the press box. I got locked in, had to climb out of the stadium after that one.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually the Union offered me a job in 2018 as a writer. And then I went writer to digital manager to manager marketing and digital, or whatever the official name is now. And that's how I get to come talk to you guys. And along the way, I've gotten to meet a lot of you guys. I met Adam and have had him on Instagram trivia, which he didn't get to do this week, so I did it. And 6 out of 10, Adam. That's all I got.
See, the problem I have with the trivia is not that, I don't enjoy it. It's just the market has become so saturated with my face. It's just like, at one point, there's just going to be an Adam Booth revolt where they're just going to be like this guy again. But at the same time, I was also moving, so that was difficult. But if you want me on next week, I will avenge that 6 out of 10 you just did. We got to keep the streak of trivia going well.
You know what I was thinking, though? Every year, I think Independence Blue Cross does those like little face fat heads of different players. Yes. It's like you've got to be in the mix for one of those soon.
This is how you get the entire family.
This is how we create a monster. This is the Frankenstein right now. But
this is literally a Netflix documentary making a murderer right here. But
we were saying that the Philadelphia Union have started this train of Adam Booth by putting him on a billboard. And eventually, his head might explode from from all the
It's not
exposure.
called a movement. It's called a boothment. The Adam Boothment.
Well, you see, this is why I had to add the fusion into my life because it has to humble me now. As my meteoric rise, the fusion will be my lead balloon.
We'll get to that crap, but I had to get back to this trivia thing because it sparked the memory of the last time I think myself, Adam, and Adam were in the same room together. Adam, have you recovered from your devastating loss at the Philly feud?
I actually don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember this. Something about Sebastian Latou letting me down. That's all I. No. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus.
Seba said the same thing about you guys.
Good. Our rivalry continues. Two guys with a nose this size cannot exist together.
I would actually blame the Harvard-educated Matt Freese because I think his aunt was Lori Loughlin, and that's how he got into Harvard.
You leave Wayne, Pennsylvania's finest child besides myself alone. All right? It is myself, Lisa Raymond, and Matt Freese. We are the pride of Wayne. You leave us alone.
Oh, Wayne has got so much.
I don't even know if I'd ask Matt about that now because he's so competitive. Like, I remember looking, at one point I didn't walk up to the podium quick enough, and he just looked at me. He was like, go.
Oh, yeah. Him and Seba, gave death looks at us after the speed round. Now, the most up-to-date or relevant part about that is both Adams, I have to warn you, because the host of that was Mikey Miss. As you know, he's been in the news, so do not toss your headset because you will get fired. That's just the only warning we're going to have on this podcast. Don't toss the headset. You can curse, but don't toss the headset because you could get fired.
Then you better give me an adequate fusion minute today, my friend. Otherwise, this is going halfway across the room.
You will get an adequate 32 seconds of fusion. Don't you worry.
You know what the bad part about this is Adam has my headphones on currently.
Exactly.
We're in the studio. So
I care not for this equipment around my head, so whatever.
Now, Adam C., you touched on something that I got to know about. You talked about Freddie Adu tossing a water bottle at Danny Mwanga. I would say that might be the top story, but you have any other stories that you can politely edit in that people wouldn't know about?
From those early years or from more recent?
Man, you could give me crazy Peter Novak stories for days and I'm in, or you can give me, Fafa Picault riding dirty stories.
Honestly, we should call the podcast Sons of Ben the Pod. We also want to know about Peter Novak at any given opportunity. It's just also a Peter Novak oral history in a podcast form.
I mean, I am pretty sure that that Peter Novak stories are almost universally there's always a twist to every single one of them. I trying to remember early stuff because I was there in 2011. I was in the locker room a lot, and the thing I most remember about Novak is that he would not really smile or be happy even after the wins. He was just a super serious dude when he come in, and everyone. I'm trying to think. Who? Oh, you know what? I have a good story. This is actually not involving Peter Novak at all. It involves Antoine Hoppeneau.
Oh, even better.
And I used to go in the locker room with my friend Eli Storch, and he asked Hoppeneau, do a little on camera bit in the locker room, and so then Hoppeneau was like, "Well, how many buttons do you want me to undo on this shirt?" And just really wanted to open up the shirt, share the nipple love with all of us, and I will never forget that as my first introduction. Even the sort of little guys low in the totem pole here, when they get their on camera time, they're gonna take it. Fafa was a fun guy though. Fafa was one of the guys I had the most fun with last year. He one time it was right after training, and he was heading out, and he saw me in the parking lot and made this gigantic spin around in I don't know what it's a Mercedes or something, whatever he was driving, to come and catch up with me. And I thought he was gonna tell me, "Oh, could you send me some photos or something?" Because he liked photos and videos. And instead, he just comes up and he gets out and he's just just saying hi. I just wanted to give you a high five. See how the family is. I was like, man, that is just so sweet. And but you know what? And I don't have another funny story, but I have a really sweet story because I want to make sure everyone knows about this because Mark McKenzie is, I think, one of the best living human beings. And after the loss in Atlanta last year in the playoffs, normally I won't ride the bus with the players because digital doesn't travel with the team. But this time we were there because it's the playoffs, so of course. And get on the bus. I'm one of the last people on because I was helping video pack up all their stuff. And there are no like single seats, it's just like pairs. And it's kind of weird just to go sit, like ask a player to move over. Like, hey, could you move over and like give me some space? So I'm like stand up in front of the whole team and like everyone's pissed off. And Mark McKenzie's just like, yo, you can sit right here. And, like we didn't talk. We just kind of sat there quietly, like looking at our phones. But it was one of the sweetest things that a player could do after such a rough loss. And I will always remember him doing that.
So Adam, this is what I get out of it. Adam Cann is Forrest Gump and Mark McKenzie is Jenny.
You know what? If he's okay with it, I'm okay with it.
We're just trying to give you guys content. You can do the video. It'll be great.
They already got Kevin Casey doing Forrest Gump jokes.
True.
We might our cup runneth over with 90s movies references.
Which Mark McKenzie might not even get.
No, he won't.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
Hopefully he's got the Netflix, and he can watch,
Yeah.
Devin, let me do a little quick housekeeping, and then we'll get into the segment that we know is going to run overeth with both Adams. So real quick, the beer of the pod, again, Adam, I apologize. Normally when we're in normal times, one of our friends of the pod, friends of the Sons of Ben, either Yards, 2SP, or the Larimer, provide beer for us and the guests when we do the pod. But since we can't all be together and we're actually recording in the morning, we're not doing a beer of the pod. But I wanted to remind everybody to, still support Yards, 2SP, the Larimer. They're all doing delivery, curbside pickup. God, 2SP, you can drive through the brewery, the actual brewery, and pick up a 6-pack and drive away. So I just wanted to remind everybody to do that. And then let's get back to this. I have a question, and then I know Adam Booth is going to hijack this for his own purposes. But video games, you got to tell me, what goes into these simulated games that you've been doing, and shouldn't we win all the time?
You know what? Wow, do I really want to reveal all of our web manager?
But
Tom's
like legit,
secrets?
you're like Matt is asking for the man behind the curtain at this point with the video game simulations. Like this is
yeah. And what we actually do is we shrink down the players, we stick them in there. No, so what happens is we have a guy named Tom Vi, who's our web manager, who used to be the communications guy for the late Bethlehem Steel, now Union 2. And he became our web manager, and just like he's one of those guys where you're just like, hey, Tom, do you think you can start coding? And he's like, yeah, I can start coding. And I was like, Tom, you think you can do some simulations? And he was like, oh, I can do some simulations. So now it's actually wonderful because he'll do the simulations, and sometimes we'll be up late in a game, and I'll get a little Slack message. It goes, Sergio just put us ahead. I think we're good. And then I'll be like, oh, nope, DC got one. I don't think it was really a penalty, but it was called. I'm going to have to do this one over. So all day, some days, he's rerunning the simulations and giving me updates. And it's one of those things where you hear it and you're like, would that be annoying? But instead you get really into it and you're just kind of like sitting there waiting on Slack like, all right, Sergio, you got to get one more. Andrew Wooten, a couple times, has been a lifesaver. But yeah, that's how it works. And we should, I don't know if we should win them all, but we should be competitive. Even in the one he did where he built all of the healthcare workers. I think we end up being pretty good in those, and yeah, he just does them. He replays them until he gets the right result, and that's the way real soccer should work too.
That's how my FIFA games work, and have been working for a very long time. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've lost maybe 3 matches in the history of my entire player career. So
he just sets all those sliders for his team all the way up, and then the sliders for the other team all the way down. And
if the Union have 7 U.S. Open Cups, 4 MLS championships, and I've been asked by Tottenham to be their manager twice, but I refuse it, maybe that happens.
Adam, this is the only segue. This is the opening.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Fusion 35 and a half seconds. Now, I have to be a little somber this week. In the Melee tournament, the Fusion did fall to the Florida Mayhem 3-1 in the semifinals. Now, this is the Mayhem's revenge after falling to the Fusion 3-0 in the opening tournament held here at the Met before the pandemic hit. I will say that the combination of EQO and Poco was not as good as I was hoping. But I will say Carpe, as always, is still an MVP kind of conversation, and we needed more Chipsa. That's really about this. Boombox did solid, Alarm did solid, more Chipsa was needed because more Doomfist play was definitely needed. Too many dives, not enough DPS bullets coming out of here. I need more EQO in my life.
Now, Adam, how good are the Florida Mayhem?
Florida Mayhem, I say, we're a team that are definitely on the rise. They started as a squad that was, they came out of the gates. They got a good victory in the first week against Washington, then stumbled against Philadelphia, had a couple of setbacks. But it seems since the pandemic hit, some teams have risen that roller coaster, if you will. And Florida Mayhem definitely shooting up the power rankings this week in the OWL, or as I like to call it, the OWL standings.
Here's my take, and then I'm going to let Adam C, not Adam B, Adam C comment. Okay, one, who names these damn teams? I keep saying it. Florida Mayhem sounds like what happens in Florida on spring break and during pandemic. So
is that not a perfect name?
No, it should be Florida Cracker, Florida White Trash. That's what it should be. And two,
also, no, that'd be Georgia. Georgia.
You talking about the names? I swear to God, I feel like I was stoned listening to early Wu-Tang. Chipsa, Dipsa, Fucksa, DPL
it's
slides.
Carpe, EQO, Chipsa, Boombox, Alarm.
Mute him like we would, and Adam Cann, I got to get your intake, because I was watching your face, and I thought you were going to explode listening to that commentary.
I enjoy the Fusion. However, those names are not familiar to me. Could you go through them one more time, just like one at a time?
So let me break it down to you. So on your DPS players, your high energy, your damage bringers, you have Carpe, easily team MVP coming up here. Got EQO, who is using the newest Overwatch member, Echo, to the best of its ability. A hero that I'm pretty sure they're going to have to nerf because she seems to be too powerful at the moment. Then you got Boombox, Alarm on support. Those guys, fantastic about it. Funny Astro, also really good on support. But the guy we all want to talk about is Chipsa, a man who is probably the most arrogant human in all of Overwatch League, who's played one map so far, but he is dominated. He plays the Doomfist character. He's ranked #1 Doomfist in the world. Funny thing about Doomfist, not used that often. So when he is, but he is probably the best interview and got one of the best personalities out there. So I love it. This team is arrogant. They literally trash talk every single team before the game, before the matches, during the matches, and even if they lose, trash talk them after the matches. I love it.
All right, so are you going to get a Chipsa, Dipsa, whatever T-shirt like we used to have with the Union players?
I already have
like
a Carpe jersey.
Not a jersey. I'm just saying like one of those shirts that go Chipsa, Dipsa, all across the chest.
So they have a shirt that says Chipsa and Carpe on it, and it's fish and chips.
All right, in Sons of Ben news, since this is a Sons of Ben pod, Drunken Union Zoom meeting or happy hour this Friday evening. Adam Cann has not been part of this. I think he needs to be because last week we had your boy Fafa Picault came on. It was probably the funniest thing I ever saw because he was literally driving around Dallas-Fort Worth doing his errands, so he had it on his phone. He was in a Puma store. He was getting takeout. He was eating. We had Aronson on and Fred. We had some good Fred talk, a lot of Union Hulk Fred talk. So I think now we need Adam with a couple drinks in him, and he could tell us some more stories.
Oof.
Adam in the can.
Yeah, you get to battle one Jonathan Tannenwald for speaking time.
Absolutely will not do that. I have spent many trainings standing next to Jonathan Tannenwald and being spoken to and speaking with. He knows way more than me. I'm not afraid to say that.
You have to find the gaps in his conversation and just fit in there. You just be like, you just get your edge and wise, and when you just in between sentences.
This is like the Miles Davis play the pauses, play the silences. Yeah.
That is my favorite old person reference of the day. Is that
There
one
we
right
go.
there. That's it.
And then we're still for the Sons of Ben. We're still looking at possible viewing parties for when this Disney World tournament starts. So we're looking at some parks and some other venues. So hopefully, once we get more information on what's allowed out there, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, we're going to try to figure something out and do that. Now, speaking of in union news, Devin, we got to get some like boop, 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 like sound effects
Oh,
and
we
all,
have it.
Okay. Oh, is it Katie Fellinger doing the?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No,
I'll have to go
Individual
seriously ask
workouts.
KYW.
Oh, for the typewriter.
Yeah, we need the typewriter from KYW. That would be so nice.
I think we still have the Katie Fellinger bit where she just imitated the typewriter.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to go back and get that.
Yeah,
I think Katie stole that from KYW.
I really think she actually took it. Like, there's probably an MP3 file on a thumb drive.
Or it's like a Geico commercial. Hey, wood chucks, stop chucking that wood. But the question is, because I know Adam's been there, players started individual workouts in Delaware because the state's locked down, but the practice facility isn't. Doesn't make sense. But any idea when the players are going to go to that luxury prison called Walt Disney World? And will you be in attendance?
I do not know the exact dates of it. I do not know basically anything at the club level. They negotiate this on a national scale, so I'm kept in the dark, which I'm pretty thankful for because I don't really want to be in the position of having to be like, oh, can I say that? Can I not say that? Because that would make me uncomfortable, and especially nowadays when you don't get to talk to many people. Every time you do, you're like, let me tell you everything that I've had pass through my head in the past 2 months. So I'm not sure when, but I also I've never been to the wide world of sports, so I don't even know how luxury it is. But I'm not sure when they'll go down. I'm not sure when anything will be finalized or if it will be, but I hope I get to go down. I think it'd be like once in a lifetime weird experience, being just locked down with a bunch of guys from like Ale Bedoya all the way down to like Jack DeVries, who guys like Brendan Aronson who were getting driven to practice a couple years ago or a year ago.
Yeah, so I'll give you a wide world of sports. I've been there a couple times because I've coached some tournaments. Huge complex, spread out. If any complex in the world could handle this, that could, and the facilities are fantastic. They're pro level, but for AAU athletes. They're like when I was coaching the girls I coached in volleyball, only time in my life I was jealous watching the courts that they were playing on. So the facilities are fantastic, and they're all set up that they can be better than good video for scouting purposes and training. So that's great. Now the problem is the hotels that Disney owns right around there are the all-star resorts. Think like Wildwood-esque motels, but with Disney theming. So hopefully you're in a different hotel and getting bussed in. But if you're the ones near there, yeah, you're not going to be thrilled with that. And the pool all plays like Ariel songs the whole time, so you'll just be singing Little Mermaid the rest of your life. So that might not
You're
be ideal.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
For an adult male, it might be.
The Little Mermaid soundtrack is timeless. Okay, there are certified bangers on that list.
And there's a time and a place for that, and it's not 24/7 in your head.
Under the sea.
I do have a follow-up question on this. Number one, so the hotels are Wildwood-esque. That tells me a lot, but the important thing is, especially if we're kind of locked in there, what's the food like at the hotels? And follow-up, completely unrelated. Speaking of bangers, an ongoing debate I've been having with many, many people: is Smash Mouth's All Star a banger or not?
Banger.
Split down the middle so far.
Banger. It's a banger.
Earworm, not a banger. Earworm.
Banger. Man, Hey Now You're an All-Star. Look, maybe it was because of the time, my age, when that came out. I think it was like 12. That's a perfect time for Hey Now You're an All-Star to come out. Is like 12 years old. Because it's just like, you're now starting to get the complexities of music, but you still kind of want something wheels on the bus go round and round-esque. That's it right there.
When you star on an insurance commercial, you became an earworm, not a banger.
So wait, so then does Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin lose because it was a GMC commercial for 20 years?
That's a GMC, not insurance. We like cars. We don't like insurance.
Look, I knew it both.
Huge differences.
All right, so all Geico songs are limited. I get it.
So to answer your question, if you're in the all-star resorts, the food is very no bueno. Like think continental breakfast. They do have pool bars, but the food not that good. But the other resorts, like if you're at like the Wilderness Lodge or the Animal Kingdom, it's fantastic. It's great. So
oh boy,
you're gonna have to.
What's the difference between the Wilderness Lodge and the Animal Kingdom?
One is near the Magic Kingdom. That's the Wilderness Lodge, and it's based on the national parks. And Animal Kingdom, or the animal whatever, that has like live animals, safaris, and it's more African themed. And
okay,
that's
so
way
let's
too much
do the
Walt Disney
Wilderness
World
one.
knowledge for this pod. Way too much. I'm embarrassing myself.
You're a grown man who knows all of Disney World. It's fine. No one's going to question this at all.
Disney hotel soundtracks.
Right, exactly. You knew what songs were playing at which hotel. I'm not saying that's a fine knowledge you got there, Sparky.
College program, buddy. College program alumni. Now, real quick though, I think Adam answered this question already, but recently in news, the Don went all Don on everybody because the Athletic had a leak and sent memos. And was it you, Adam? We just want to know on record. Were you the leak?
Am I the leak? So, you know why I couldn't leak? Because I can't even decide who would I leak to. Like, I feel like Jonathan Tannenwald would be very disappointed in me if it wasn't him. I also, I am almost afraid to admit this, but I have like a growing positive feeling for Matt DeGeorge. I just enjoy exchanging words with him. But it would just be, you'd be letting too many people down.
And Joe Tanzi's physically imposing, yeah.
Yeah, Joe Tanzi, a man who can, pull off khaki shorts in any environment. I enjoy him as well. But yeah, I absolutely am not the league because honestly, I couldn't decide who would get it, who would be the winner.
Now, maybe you can leak this. Will the Philadelphia Union beat the Columbus Crew this Saturday?
I think they have a very good chance. I think, God, what are the good Bull Durham cliches? Like, one sim at a time.
If they score more goals than the Crew do, they might win.
God, like the old Madden games where Madden would always be like, the team with the most points is usually the team that wins a game.
No, let me tell you now. Now, when you have Brett Favre, okay, he can score those goals. Now, John, I gotta tell you, you're taking me back to drinking. I'm Pat Summerall.
Now, before we move on, I want to talk about this Don Garber thing a little bit more because this just like blows me away. It's like, it's something that like I feel like hurts the league more than anything else than like helping at all. The fact that you have to release a memo about people leaking to the Athletic and then that gets leaked to the Athletic and they write a story on it. It's just like
it's like a makeshift Dana White where it's like you have not Don Garber's trying to run the whole thing and not like dictator-esque, but very, very like him and only him-esque, and he wants to control the message and control and like the way you're so bad at it that it becomes parody. Like your attempt to control the message becomes parody of itself, and it's just like, Adam Silver wouldn't have this happen. That's all I'm gonna say. That man runs a tight ship up there in New York.
Well, in other breaking news, Commissioner Garber's office has not gotten back to us on our request to have him as an interview.
I want the deputy commissioner. That's what I want.
There's two of them. Which one?
Whichever one does the draft on day 2. I want the guy I want whoever is the Mark Tatum of MLS to be here for us now.
Oh, man. But yeah,
or whoever that lovely woman was from the NFL. I forget what her name was. Whoever she was, the deputy commissioner there. I want someone, not Garber. He's useless.
All right. Now, I've got questions for Adam because, as we know, the Bundesliga is back. And as a marketing and digital content expert, I've got to ask you. This week, the first week, people were complaining about, The stadium sounded like a cavern. It was echoes all over. So then they decided to the Dortmund Munich game. They decided to pump in sound. Fan or not fan, and then we'll all weigh in.
Of the pumped in sound.
Yeah, of the pumped in sound.
So I, as a marketer, I absolutely love it. But it's like thinking. I read. I think it was Brian Strauss at SI had like a background, or I forget who had it onto like how they set that up. And there's like a sound producer there, like adjusting the noise to match play, which just seems like a really intense job to me. But I like it as a marketer. As a fan or like as a viewer, I hate it because that first weekend, the God, who was Dortmund playing? I forget who they were playing that they absolutely blew out.
Schalke.
I believe it was Wolfsburg.
No, it was Schalke.
Or no, was it Schalke?
The Riviera Derby.
Yeah.
That was awesome because you could hear all the guys yelling. I think that week in the Mönchengladbach game, the referee went over to talk to Marco Rosa because he could hear everything he was saying. So hearing the level of communication is like it's one of those things where coaches get asked about it, players get asked about it, and even as like when I was in Texas watching games, like because you can't hear it, you're not really sure how much they're communicating unless they use a lot of body language. So to actually hear how much they talk and like how much that guides play was straight up fascinating to me. Like I love that because especially because that's something that you tell like young players like, hey, you should talk more. And it's like when you're a teacher and you're told don't just tell kids no, don't do that, tell them what to do. And it's so hard to show them like here's what professional players do. And then in that one game you could hear like so many different languages just like yelling like intonations. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it without.
I loved it without, and then with the pumped in, I wasn't a fan. Also because I'm watching it and I'm trying to listen to. I'm catching myself listening to the sounds, going, "All right, what are they doing? What's the chant?" And then you're hearing like this overall cheering, and I'm going, "There's no way Dortmund fans will be cheering because right now Munich is moving the ball up." So whoever was the DJ was not doing a great job. I was just like, "What? I think they're just playing it on loop. Like it was just a loop." And I'm going. And then what's next? Are they going to CGI fans in, or green screen the whole stadium? And what's next? And then do fans stop even going? So I wasn't a fan of the pumped in sound. Maybe just because they didn't do a great job at it. I'm not sure.
I want the hologram JP Della Camera, and I want it now.
So do we, but for personal use. That's a whole different story. Now, in other big international news, the Premier League. It back. I think today was phase 3. Adam, you saw Adam Booth, and it looks like they say June 20th, but I just saw June 17th, the first match.
Yeah, I was perusing the Twitters because I got the 4 updates from my phone because I'm signed up to way too many apps. Yeah, so it seems like June 17th is when Devin gets to feel sad again. He can take his long, sad nap as a Tottenham fan into mid-table impossible relegation at this point. I don't even know how that's going to happen for you. That's not even going to be fun. But the rest of us who actually have teams that matter, we're going to be enjoying the nice little sprint towards the finish where we see Liverpool win literally next week.
Oh, I think someone's a Liverpool fan.
Liverpool.
Yeah, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
You and Mark Evans. Is that the only thing you two bond about is Liverpool?
Yeah. No, Mark and I bond about Liverpool, and we bond about him having so many more jerseys than me that it's almost incalculable. I mean, I don't know how we're both going to react. Like that's the weird thing is all of us. It's kind of like the Union U.S. Open Cup. Like if they ever get back to another final and we're there, like I just don't know how to react for a win because like the build up, like Liverpool being like 1 or 2 points behind so many times. Finishing second, 3 times under 3 different managers. Like, same with the U.S. Open Cup. I'm just like, it's going to be so many different years all at once. Oh.
It's going to be super anticlimactic. Enjoy.
Well, I've got.
That's how the Champions League final was. Yeah. It's over. Oh.
I've got a little good news.
That's how the Champions League final was.
I've got a little good news.
That was Devin's prayers. Oh my God, it's over. Thank you, God. Oh, Jesus Christ! Do I not have to see that happen again? My God.
I've got a little good news on the jersey front. Since Mark has got a second kid now, I don't think he's got the budget, so I think you can catch him now on the jersey front. You might even be able to buy some of his old jerseys at a discount because he's probably knee deep in Pampers right now. So that's the good news. The bad news,
he has to save his money for the new Tampa Bay Buccaneers jerseys he needs with the Tom Brady experience.
Tom Brady.
Oh God.
I actually want Mark back on the pod so we can ask him, are you still a Patriots fan or are you following Tom into the dark? Because I think a lot of Bostonians have that feeling right now of, can I give up on Lord and Savior Tom? You know?
The really fun thing is, as someone who grew up in North Carolina, is the Panthers. I think at one point put up a graphic of like all the great QBs in the NFC South now. And so it was, what is it? Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, and then Teddy Bridgewater. And I was like, well, it's okay that someone put this up, but it probably shouldn't have been the Panthers.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong.
Now, I do have a little bit of a gray cloud in this joy that is the Premier League coming back and possible Liverpool. Because Liverpool always seems to be like Lucy, where the ball gets pulled away. Or Charlie Brown, I'm sorry, where Lucy pulls the ball away. Is Aaron Ramsdale from Bournemouth going to be your Lucy? Apparently he just tested positive, and he's been in, playing with Bournemouth, and he said he went to the grocery store. Is this something we should worry about, or just
we don't need Bournemouth? We don't need Bournemouth. Like, look, this is the same thing. Not to interrupt, but this is the same thing that was going on in the NBA right now. Like, they were saying, let's bring back all the NBA teams, and like, Damian Lillard straight up said, I ain't coming back unless we got a shot at the playoffs. Like, what's the point of me showing up here unless we got a shot at a chip? There's no point. So I'm like, look, we don't need Bournemouth. Send them home. Send them home. We need 1 week for the Premier League. We need for Liverpool to get the title, and we can just literally cancel the season after that because there's no point.
But doesn't Liverpool have to play Bournemouth?
I mean, Liverpool just need enough points, and then after that, you have to come up with like some kind of amazing obstacle course, amazing race style. Pick 2 guys from each team for the bottom 6, and that's your relegation battle right there.
I was watching Fox last night because Master Chef came back on, and oh my God, that is a fantastic program. But right after Master Chef was the J.J. Watt and Watt Brothers experience known as Ultimate Tag. And yes, that times a million. It's like American Gladiators, but just straight up tag. And they got these personalities like Bulldog and the Atomic Ant and like Iron Giantess. I love this whole thing. That is how the relegation battle should be won. You take your fastest players from all the bottom 5 teams, ultimate tag against Iron Giantess and the Kid.
Well, Tottenham's got an advantage because they've got a trained soldier now on their team.
Right? That's the only medals he's getting anytime soon.
Now speaking of back, and this comes with a conspiracy theory on my part only. The NWSL is working to be the first league back in North America for, I think, June 27th was the date. But here's my conspiracy theory. Immediately after that, Governor Murphy allows professional sports teams to open up facilities for individual training. Wait. Doesn't Governor Murphy own a professional sports team in the state of New Jersey that just said they were going to be the first league back?
Wow, this is...
Matt, the Sixers and the Flyers are headquartered in New Jersey. So shut up, because we need them back too. Just ignore it. I understand the conspiracy. Ignore it. The Sixers and the Flyers need to play. So shh.
Okay. All right.
And actually, here, I'll provide the smoke screen here. I didn't even know this until yesterday, until I was researching a little bit. Governor Murphy was part of the U.S. Soccer Federation board in, 2018. I found that...
It's so inside baseball, it hurts, right?
Yeah.
It's like legit. Like a little bit. It's like, and look, if you are the NWSL, you found yourself a very unique opportunity. You have a chance to have all eyes on you at least for 2 weeks. And that's a weird window that no one was going to have previously. And I'm a huge fan of the NWSL. I'm always advocating for them to bring another team to the Delaware Valley. yes, Sky Blue is around, but Philadelphia itself deserves a team. I really believe that. But you have this very unique opportunity to be the first major league back. And I mean, yeah, you're going to try your damnedest because you might not have this window ever again. There's hopefully no more pandemics anytime soon, so you might not have this opportunity.
Very true. Listen, I'm hoping for any and all live sports back. I mean, I'm appreciating the National Cornhole League, but I don't know if I can keep watching that anymore. But
You're still
Johnsonville
missing our
Brats.
Overwatch appointments, Matt. I keep trying to get you on the calendar
I said sports,
for a little
Adam.
Sunday.
I said sports.
A little Sunday matinee, Fusion versus Dallas Fuel, but you can't even get up on the feed. Man.
I will. Yeah, because it's not a real sport. It's on a feed. If it's not on ESPN or it's not a real sport. It's not the Johnsonville Brats Cornhole League, buddy. It's not the Johnsonville Brats Cornhole League.
Did you not see the Tetris tournament that was on the outro?
No, I did not.
All right, well then we can have that conversation later.
But I did want to say I am very excited that your Philadelphia Flyers are number 1. Did you see that, Adam?
Yeah, I am so pumped. And only because this is actually a year we have a goalie. So I'm like, yay, let's actually do this thing. And did you hear that Pittsburgh might be one of the host cities for this like round robin thing that they're trying to do? And it's so nice that they give the Flyers a home game because, the Flyers have been such a dominance in that building for so long. It's so nice for us to have a home game in this because, I definitely – and, if there's any version of fans allowed within a 2-block radius of that arena, it'll be orange. Like an orange band of humans surrounding the structure. It's going to be fantastic.
Two groups I would not want to see break quarantine would be Flyers fans and Penguins fans.
Oh, they'll break each other back into quarantines, but just because of, bloodshed.
That's like a petri dish, like Lake of the Ozarks kind of petri dish.
Speaking of the Ozarks. All of these things kind of do the trickle effect, and, I'm excited to hear that the states are going to try to put something together. I'm also the first person to say if these players ain't trying to play because of their various reasons, I'm not really trying to force them either. I know a lot of people are just like, shut up and play. All the Americans have to get back to work and all that, blah blah. And I get that, but at the same time, I'm like, the circumstances of professional sports are a little bit different. There's a lot of travel in that. There's a lot of human contact in that. There's a lot of being around people that a lot of jobs in America do not possess. So I think there's more inherent risk in some cases. So if these guys are like, I don't feel safe, then I'm like, he doesn't feel safe. That's okay,
I mean, I can't argue with it, but I also do get a little upset because, there are people in this pandemic not working. And there's people that have the ability to work. And yeah, maybe they're not making the same amount of money that they were making as a professional athlete. But, it's hard for me to say, oh, yeah, if you don't feel safe, don't work, where there's millions of people that would be willing to go back to work if they could at any moment. So,
of course, I believe that it's a situation for which when you have the uniqueness of what we're doing here, I'm not even trying to discredit the millions that are trying to go back to work. I'm a person who would love to go back to my office at any given moment. It's just, for me, I see a lot of what both sides are saying on this, and it makes me say at the end of the day, we are asking them to entertain us. That's the job that they're doing, is to entertain us. It's not like they're doing a service, if you will. Like, it's not like they're doing an industry. Their industry is entertainment. I don't necessarily put that on the same level as a lot of other jobs, to the point where I'm like, you must get back to the will, because like it doesn't feel the same to me. It feels a little bit different. Now, I can completely be in the minority in this, and totally okay with that, because I was also the person back on March 10th being like, maybe we shouldn't have that soccer game against San Jose on Saturday. Maybe we should possibly postpone that, and got lit up on Twitter. And I was just like, just maybe we should hold off for a second, and then they closed the whole league. And I'm like, oh, okay, bye.
Well, getting lit up on Twitter shouldn't be your barometer, because you could say anything and get lit up on Twitter.
I have a lot of enemies.
Wow, it's just Adam Cann. He's just got a lot of burner accounts. He
has a no. It's Tim McDermott's burners, and we know this.
Speaking of Adam,
I want to be clear about this. If Tim McDermott has burners, I would be running them. I will handle that for him. But to my knowledge, he does not.
You're the Mike Ryan to his Dan Le Batard. You're just like, yeah, Mike, Adam, run my Twitters. Get my Twitters.
Can you at least get us access to the promised picture of little Timmy McDermott when he was posing with Jeffrey the giraffe from Toys R Us?
Oh, God, Super Toy Run, Tim. Toy Run, Tim.
He revealed on this pod that he did a Super Toy Run in Toys R Us, and that there is a picture of him with Jeffrey the giraffe with his toys wearing like 80s mom jeans. And he told us he was going to send it to us, but he hasn't. So we know this photo's out there and we can't get our hands on it, but we think a digital mastermind like yourself could obtain said picture.
Wow, yeah. And then, I mean, the tricky part, is if I did have that picture and I could use it for some kind of leverage at my current position, like, would I want to reveal that publicly?
Yeah.
All right, but once you do leak it, make sure we get a copy of it. That's all we ask. Just a small favor.
We can do this in the chat later. This ain't no thing.
You guys know we're approaching the singularity anyway, so soon it won't matter if it really happened. We'll have the technology to make it seem like it did.
Look, anytime someone mentions the singularity, I'm here for it. I got several books back here you'd love.
We're getting to that uncanny valley right here, man.
But the last bit of news I had for both Adams is looks like the Sixers are going to be back soon, because they're back to individual training because Camden is back open. Now, I wish they would open up my marina in Camden so I could work from the boat, not work from the home. But
silence, mortal. The Sixers are back. We must rejoice as the Sixers are back.
First off, let me tell you this, all right? There has been no weirder place to be than Sixers social media during this pandemic, because Sixers social media is a weird place to begin with. We're always upset, weirdly optimistic, but also crushingly depressed at the same time, always. And now we're just in this weird holding pattern where the Sixers are like the 6th seed, and like we were going to go on the road for the playoffs, and it was going to be awkward and weird, and we might not have Ben Simmons, but Ben's back. We might have a Benjamin Simmons back. And if anyone has checked Yahoo, we were the simulated champions. So apparently someone who's running the simulations over at the Yahoo believes that the Sixers are good enough. And let me be clear. There would be no more Philadelphia thing in the history of mankind than to have both the Flyers and the Sixers win their respective championships in Orlando.
Are you forgetting that the Union are going to win that tournament in Orlando?
Sure. But here's the thing. For MLS, not as weird.
3 for 3. 3 for 3 in the summer. That's what we're doing. 3 for 3.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we have the League's Cup, the Campeones Cup, all that stuff in our league, so that's not as weird. But just to say that the Sixers will win a championship for which we will have to have a parade on Zoom for, I am so ready for this, and it's obviously the destiny of all of these respective teams.
It just makes me think of that first Dortmund goal when the Bundesliga came back and Haaland scored, and then they couldn't touch each other when they celebrated, and like they did just like a little wiggle, like a few yards away from each other. I'm just imagining all of Philadelphia getting together 3 times to wiggle together from a distance.
It's like Hands Across America, but just wiggles.
Oh.
With pool noodles.
Like the throwback, like 20 years from now, yeah, those would be amazing.
I honestly, because here's the thing. Someone's going to have to win a championship in this year era. You know, some of these teams are going to have to win these championships. And these championships are going to be viewed differently than any prior in any post. You know, it's just going to be that weird 2020 year where everyone won things behind gloves and shields and plexiglass in empty arenas across the literal globe. Like, it's going to be like the first years of MLS all over again.
It's also, you know what, like the thing you notice, we did like, we've done this Fight for Philly community campaign. And the crazy thing to me is like, you could just feel all the pent up, like all the energy that people channel into sports in Philly. is getting like channeled into other areas. But when sports come back, like that release, I don't know where it's gonna go, but it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out hard. Yeah.
It's going to be a laser beam that just breaks through Broad Street and just carves it up all the way to South Philadelphia. It's going to be
Yeah, it's gonna be like in Thor, and someone's just gonna like put that sword in and release the yeah.
We're gonna harness the power. Pico will not even know the levels of energy we're about to display here. It's gonna be uncanny.
I think you meant Talon. Oh, never mind. They don't count anymore. My bad.
The artist formerly known as PPL, or again, we have songs about this, and I'm very excited to break out once we eventually get back to Chester in 2077.
All right, Devin, do we have any more housekeeping to do, or have we fulfilled all our obligations
That's all
here?
That's all we got.
So do you want to do like 30 some more seconds about the fusion? Because I got
No.
it.
So, Adam, Cann, thank you very much for being our very special guest and putting up with the shenanigans. We hope Tim keeps you on board because you outshined him today on the pod.
Well, he has to because otherwise this Toys R Us picture is going to go far and wide. But also, it was great, Adam. It was great watching you set up your studio for people that couldn't see it.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Occasionally Devin takes photos, so I have to look like it's not complete chaos behind me right now with boxes and like strewed bodies.
Is that what I'm supposed to be doing?
Or dead bodies?
Yes.
Oh. Wow.
Oh well.
Really? I didn't get the memo.
Well, I don't think I look great, so that's fine.
You look wonderful. So, Adam, again, thank you very much. Guys, thanks for one more week, and onward and upward. And remember, everybody, wash your hands.
Sexy